I'm Father Pullman.
And I'm Father Schumacher. And
we are the Associates.
Welcome to another episode of Ask the Associates. Just to let you know, in this episode we'll be discussing natural family planning. So if this is something that you'd rather not have your children watching, we just wanted to let you know beforehand. Father, is natural family planning bad without a just cause? It can be spoken of as Catholic birth control, but it's immoral to use any kind of birth control. With NFP, you're doing a similar thing, planning or preventing a pregnancy. So is it a form of contraception even if it's natural?
Well, those are some good questions that Catholics that are called to marriage and family life need to know. And I think I would rephrase that first question. So rather than say, is natural family planning bad without a just cause, I would look at it as those things that are good within the church. Anything that's good can be misused. And so what God has given us to the natural rhythms of our life, our bodies, He's given us a rationality to recognize that, discern that, and to live according to that. I'll let you give your thoughts on this, but I think the kind of the first part of this would be natural family planning is clearly not the same as what we would say of other artificial birth controls, simply because husband and wife will have those periods of abstinence, which helps them foster love, self-sacrifice, and knowledge of their spouse.
Right, mutual respect.
Mutual respect. And they are still open to life. There's a certain openness to life because just they're not going to be impeding with any artificial means.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. I think the place to start from in this discussion is, well, God is the one who made us with our physiological makeup, and it just simply is true that women are fertile at certain periods and infertile at other periods, according to a natural rhythm, right? And we can notice that. God made it, and he also made us the kind of beings that can notice that. He doesn't then turn around and say, well, you have to pretend you haven't noticed, right? That would be arbitrary, that would be cruel. It would be a silly setup for God to do that. So it seems unreasonable to say that we just have to pretend we haven't noticed that that's the case, that there are periods of infertility in a woman's natural cycle. So if that's the case, then it seems reasonable that we'd be allowed to use them. So we can. I think that's where you have to say, if you want it in one sentence, human beings, married couples, are allowed to use the different periods of a woman's menstrual cycle in order to avoid conceiving a child. Now, here's the question, though, right? Because it does seem like, even as I say that, to avoid conceiving a child, isn't that contraceptive? Well, and I think this is the big part, right? The fundamental disposition of a married couple must be, in order to be living a moral life, must be a certain openness to the life that God provides for them. New children are always from God, right? A human soul can't be created except by God. So he's the one who creates it with our cooperation. So we, married couples, Catholic married couple, would have to be, at least in principle, open to that life that God gives them, which means that they should not be engaging in these kind of marital relations at all, unless that openness to life is really there. Now, if it seems, according to a couple's own prudence, that maybe right now is not the best time for the woman to become pregnant or for them to have another child, then that might be reasonable. But here's the catch, right? Because we are so prone to selfishness and to judging ourselves leniently in our own cause that we ought to be very wary of saying, oh, well, yeah, I don't think right now is a good time for a child. Really? Are you saying that out of real concern for the good of your family? Or are you saying that out of a certain selfishness? And that's hard to judge. It's just hard to judge for yourself. So I think a good thing to do is to take counsel with another trusted, say, married couple, or with a trusted spiritual advisor, right? To see whether your motives are selfish or are charitable. And in that way, as Father said, if you're doing it out of selfishness, then you're using NFP badly. Or if you're doing it out of charity, then you're using NFP very well. I think that's a good way to kind of evaluate. The problem with it is that you want us to tell you whether it's okay or not. And the answer is, it depends. Depends on the circumstance. And I know that's an unsatisfactory answer, but it's a good answer because our religion and our morality is not based upon rules, but upon virtue, upon God's real invitation to us to cooperate with His grace.
Click the logo right there to subscribe.
Thanks for watching. New episodes come out every Wednesday.